delighted to be talking to a man who's been in the music industry for over 30 years now. It's the one and only Myke Gray for the new wave of classic rock Webfest4. How are you, Myke?
I'm very well. It's an absolute honor to be here, and lovely to see you again. Thank you for having me.
You too. We were saying before, it seems like a million years ago that we last saw each other at Rebellion in Manchester.
Absolutely, a lifetime ago.
It wasn't actually that long ago, but so much has happened since then. So you're known for several bands. So you've got Jagged Edge, Skin, Red, White and Blues, and now you've got your current incarnation, if I may call it that, Shades of Grey.
Mm-hmm.
Now I want to know, you've released a few songs so far for your album. Are they named after possible chapters of a certain erotic book? Because I've been looking at the names of these songs, and I think they're perfect for 50 Shades of Grey. You've got Wham Bam, Tied Up in Love, Shout, and I Get Up. So is this deliberate or a subconscious thing?
I mean, that is subconscious, but I mean, the whole concept of Shades of Grey is like, historically, I've always been involved in bands that have had tremendous singers, some of the best singers in the world. And so when I've always been the main songwriter in these bands, if not the only songwriter in these bands. And so when you're writing songs for singers like Neville McDonald, then your spectrum of what you can do becomes a lot wider. So historically I've always written for singers. I get to know the singer, their capabilities, what they can't do, what they feel comfortable singing, and I write songs for them. And those have historically always been like bands like Jagged Edge and Skin. But if you was to say to me, what's my favorite type of music? What do I listen to at home? Then I tend to listen to things like Motley Crue and Van Halen and Wasp and Dokken and Cinderella. And I'm like my real love, if I had to name one type of music, it would be like the music that's kind of glam influenced from the 70s, the 80s and the 90s. Whether it be Slade and Sweet and T-Rex, Wasp, Kiss, Alice Cooper. I love this type of music, but I've never been in a band with a singer that would even entertain singing a song like Fuck Like a Beast or Dr. Feelgood. They would just not sort of see that as anything that they would ever want to sing. But it is actually my favorite type of music. So at the end of like last year, when I was in limbo, because I was, I didn't really know what was going on with certain projects. So I thought, not being someone who likes to sit around for very long and not be creative, I always have to be making music. If I'm not making music, I feel like I'm dying. So it's literally whenever something stops, I just move on to something else immediately. And I wrote this song called I Get Up. And I thought, okay, it's kind of very familiar with the music that I love. And I just did it as just something to do while I was waiting for information.
As you do, just write a great song, just like that.
Yeah, I just thought I'd just write a song. And then I was just hanging around and I thought, well, I've got my own studio, so I'll just record it. And so I did it, and I just, Shades of Grey, I kind of hid the name, and then I disguised myself in the video, thinking that no one would take it seriously in any shape or form, and that it would be brushed under the carpet as quickly as it was released. And then Planet Rock playlisted it, and then that kind of changed everything. And so then, I spoke to some people and it was kind of like, oh, let's make an album then. And that is where Shades of Grey comes from. And so all of the influences are very much the type of songs that I was never able to do in bands like Skin or Jagged Edge.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a 30-year love affair that's been trapped away, and within Shades of Grey, I'm allowed to kind of express it all.
That sounds great. I know you've just released your latest track, so Music Is My Remedy, and you've got Daniel Byrne from Revival Black singing along with backing vocals. So how did that sort of partnership come about?
Well, I mean, first of all, I just heard Revival Black. I'm always checking out new bands and everything, and I found out about Revival Black on the New Wave of Classic Rock, website. It was just I tried to check out everything that comes out, and I just thought, oh my God, this guy is a fantastic singer. And then he came to one of the shows, and he's a a lovely guy. Not only is he a fantastic singer, he's an absolutely lovely guy. And so when I was putting I Get Up together, which is the first Shades of Grey song, I initially, when you listen to bands like Motley Crue and Rat, their backing vocals are always different from the lead singer. Like Bryan Adams does the backing vocals on Motley Crue's Dr. Feelgood album. They would often bring outside people in. And to keep in with that vein, on I Get Up, I got Colin Parkinson to do some backing vocals. I got Daniel to do some, and Pete Newdeck did some. So it was always my intention to like have different people doing backing vocals. And Daniel came to my studio, and he's just a dream to work with. I would say of all the singers I've worked with, he is the most easygoing. He comes into the studio and he's just a joy to work with. There's no drama.
He's got a very nice aura about him, hasn't he? Very calming, sort of. Yeah, very nice.
Absolutely. And so it makes the whole thing like very, very pleasurable experience, because working with singers is tough. And so then it was kind of like, oh, Daniel's then appeared on all of my Shades of Grey, with the exception of Tied Up in Love. Because of lockdown, he wasn't able to make it down. So hopefully, and he actually appears on the next one as well, which I'm just finishing off. So lovely guy, and I literally found him through the new wave of classic rock movement.
Yeah. And I love the way that you're sort of embracing the new music coming out, as well as, you still love the old stuff that's influenced you the most. And, you're actually sort of helping these singers with their careers and people noticing them. You're doing a huge amount of what you're doing, sort of a huge amount of work for the emerging scene, basically, which is very much appreciated by everybody.
Well, I try to, I've always, always right from the beginning, it's always been the driving force behind what I do is to create music. It's like, I will tell you now, I'm not the easiest person in the world to get on with, because I literally only think about music. I wake up in the day thinking about music, and I go to bed thinking about the music I'm going to make the next day. And so I don't think about anything else, and it's kind of like, and a lot of musicians have other things going on in their world, but that doesn't exist in mine, so it's kind of like, if you're going to work with me, then you have to understand I'm not going to be particularly interested in what's going on in the world, just about this art. Are we going to make something that people are going to watch after we're dead? It's like, is it going to live on? So that's kind of like the heartbeat of everything I do. So when I worked with Neville McDonald, he was a like-minded person, one of the greatest singers in the world. Matty Alfonsetti, the same. And I've been very lucky to work with tremendous singers. But I think it's because they know when they work with me, you're going to get 100%. We're gonna create, the intention is to create something timeless. And if you don't want to do that, then great, do something else. But if you're going to work with me, that's the plan. Yeah,
I mean, speaking of singers you work with great talent, of course, was Kim Jennett until very recently, and then you were due to appear with her. Was it Stone Dead this year? Yeah. And then you're actually appearing sort of by yourself now next year. Do you mind my asking sort of what happened there?
Kim is a phenomenal singer, and I expect her to do phenomenal work, And, I'm as big a fan of Kim's voice now as I was right back then, but in 3 years, I've worked with 17 musicians, where I think it's 4 drummers, 5 bass players, and like I say, the way that I work is with a very tunnel vision of what I want to achieve, and it's very much, not everyone can deal with that. Not everyone wants to deal with that, and people can deal with it for a little while, and then they can have the desire to do what they want to do as well. And hopefully within that time frame, they've learned something and they'll move on with it. So in terms of, I think Kim just wanted to do her own thing, which total respect. And I hope what she does is absolutely fantastic.
And lastly, I know we touched on it just earlier, but I just want to ask you about your new album that you're going to be bringing out. I heard it's going to be scheduled for around January, February time. So is it still on track to be released then?
No, nothing I do is ever on track. You know, so basically, you know, when you're doing everything yourself, it takes a little bit longer. Now, and the reason for that, you know, normally when you go into to record an album, you know, you've got a bass player who plays bass all the time, so he's ready to go. You've got a singer who's ready to go, a guitar player who's ready to go. You know, but when you're doing the vocals yourself, you know, vocals take a little while to do, especially backing vocals. And then you've got to sit editing them and putting them all together. And then you've got to write the lyrics. And maybe once you've sung it once, you've got to, and then you're doing all the production. And then sometimes you haven't played guitar for maybe 3 weeks and you've got to do a guitar solo, which is good as something that you used to do, you know, 20 years ago when you were playing 10 hours a day. So it takes a little while just to get back into the standard of everything to be done. You know, so on average, it takes me about 6 to 7 weeks to finish a song from beginning to end. Now, what I didn't want to do was, you know, because basically the album is being funded by the fans. What I didn't want to do was have people buy an album and not get an album for a year and a half later. So what I do is do one song at a time. I release it, I put it out there. So the fans, they see what they're getting and they suddenly realize, oh, there's this body of work that's progressing. When you historically make albums, what you would do is you go into the studio and you do all the drums first, you know, and then you do all the bass next, you know, and then you do all the guitars, and then the singer starts to do the vocals when most of the song is finished and he just jumps from one song to another. But I didn't want to do that for multiple reasons. Over the years, there's always been massive conflict with singers. And the reason for this is, you know, a writer is a person who wrote, it's my song, I'm letting you sing it. You know, that is the mindset of the writer. The mindset of the singer is, I'm making your song good and I'm going to be the thing that sells it to the people. People are only going to like your song because I'm singing it. And straight away, you see the conflict that's going to happen there. So my job as a songwriter is to create something that other people want to sing. You know, it's kind of, a song should be universal. Something like My Way has been sung by hundreds of people. You know, so when I'm writing songs, initially I am writing for one person in particular. But the greatest compliment you can have is when some other people want to sing the song. You know, so there you have, then you have the conflict with the singers. And I've had conflicts with all of my singers because that's kind of how it kind of historically has gone for me.
Brilliant talking to you, and I look forward to your new album with great anticipation. So
thank you so much.
Keep an eye on your socials to find out when that's coming out, and wish you all the very best with it. Thanks again for appearing at the Webfest today.
You know, great to see you. Hopefully it won't be too long until I see you in person again.
Well, all being well, it'll be stone dead next year, unless you've got other festivals or appearances, you know.
No, desperate to play.
If not, I'll see you there.
Phenomenal people, really desperate to play that one.
Yeah. All right. Well, take care, Myke. Pleasure as always.
Take care.
Bye.
This is rock and roll, burning out to my soul. This is rock and roll. I love